The role of the interpreter is to act as a bridge to communicate ideas between a person who doesn't speak the language that the other person that he or she is trying to communicate with speak in an effective way. It's a way to communicate between people in the world who, coming from different parts of the world, don't necessarily speak the same language. Wherein for the role of the interpreter, people could not communicate effectively in all different aspects of life.
The interpreter acts as a conduit between the parties, between the speaker and the non-speaker of the source and target languages.
The role of the interpreter is to facilitate communication among the parties when one of the parties does not speak English.
The interpreter's role is to interpret meaning and concepts from original language to a target language. And the interpretation should be accurate. It doesn't mean necessarily that it's verbatim, but you have to capture the meaning and convey it totally. And your effort is to convey as clearly and accurately as possible what's being said.
The interpreter's role is to ensure the oral translation of what was said in one language into another, without deleting, without embellishing, and without adding anything to the message. And to ensure that the message has been translating not just what was said, but how it was said.
The role of the interpreter is to provide semantic equivalence between the source and target language, and to conserve every single element of information that was contained in the original message, in as close form as English style, syntax, register level, and grammar will allow. By the same token, the non-English speaker should hear precisely the question asked or the statement said without simplification, clarification, or omission. The interpreter's work requires a sensitive consideration of form as well as content, each of which emphasizes a different aspect of the original message. Interpreters aim to produce a final rendition that is as faithful to the original as circumstances require or permit. And yet that final result should be as if it were delivered originally in the target language. The aim of interpreter is to be an invisible person, transferring content without drawing attention to the considerable artistic and technical skills involved in the process. The interpreter's best skill and judgment should be used to interpret accurately without embellishing, omitting, or editing. The interpreter actually has a twofold duty. One, to ensure that what is being said in English reflects precisely what was stated by the non-English speaker in another language. Number two, to place the non-English speaker or participants on the relative linguistic footing with those who understand English without altering the register of the speakers. Just like in painting, music, or sculpting, the balances of the shades, tones, and harmony of the colors are at the discretion of the painter. Among all of the challenges that a good interpreter or translator may find, we encounter an array of special linguistic nuances, as each language has its own special phraseology. Each professional gives a different weight, cadence, and rhythm to their final rendition.